Hi, it's Linda from Linda's Paperworks. Today I want to work in this journal again. Last time we did the inside cover page, and I talked about this page with the vellum backing on this uptuck pocket, and that these postcards in here aren't very pretty, so I want to make something to slide in behind, on this side, behind these postcards that will show through this and look pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside to begin with. I'm going to make something that's similar to this, although it's not really, other than it's a little folder. This one is something I believe Rachel of Roxy Creations was doing these some time ago, and just collaging paper on masterboards is what they call them. There's a base in here of book page, and you collage on one side of it, and then you cut it up and make the little booklet from that. But today I'm not going to do the collage part of that. What I'm going to do is put this lace on this piece of yellow paper, which is very yellow on the inside. This exceeds it certainly is yellow. And this lace is some that I got at Hobby Lobby when they were having 50% off on their lace. And well, actually this was reduced even more. It was originally $6 for this spool, and I got it for $1.49, so it must have been in their clearance aisle. Anyway, I think it's very pretty. It's a little bit stretchy, which can be a little tricky when you're trying to glue it down, but I'm going to put it on here and then decorate that. But the first thing I want to do is do something for the inside. This was just a piece of an offcut of cutting these pieces like this. This is not the same paper, but it was left when I cut the die cut for these pieces, these rectangles. And so what I did is I decided I'd like to make a pocket out of it, and I put some vellum on the back. I glued it to the back of it. And then I'm going to glue it in this way, in this page, to make a pocket. And I want to make a card that goes in it that I'm going to decoupage this part of this napkin on this card. So that's what I'm going to start with, so it will have time to dry while I'm doing the other things. So I may need that. The first thing I'm going to do is separate this napkin. And this is just a napkin that I got at the Dollar Tree. I think there were 16 in the package. I just thought these flowers were really pretty, and I've used some of them several times in different things. And the color is really pretty on it. But anyway, the first thing you have to do is find a way to separate everything apart. So I'm just going to try to do that. Some people use tape to do that, but I don't know, I just usually do it this way. Just get it started on the edge, and then you can peel it apart. Some paper napkins like this have 3 plies, and some have 2. And I think this is one that just has 2 plies. So once we get this off here, we'll be ready to go. That part I was going to use on the card again. I think it was this part. I'm going to use my water brush. Get it a little bit wet here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edge of the design that I want, so it makes it easier to tear it out, so that you're not tearing it and it decides to go somewhere where you don't want it to go. So anyway, I think I'm just going to go along this line right here where it was folded. And then I'm going to go around this. And yeah, I don't need those leaves either. But I want as much of the yellow flowers as I can get. I didn't really have any yellow napkins or yellow flowers on napkins that I could use, so I decided to use this pink color on this. So now we can tear that I just like to start pulling a little bit. It's kind of strong right there. It's so hot, the water may be evaporating before I can tear my paper. I'm serious about that. Although it hasn't hit 100 yet today, so yay for that. Okay, here we go. That seems to be doing better. And when you tear the edge, it also kind of it looks better on your paper, on the card when you glue it down. It kind of gives the edge a softness that if you cut it with scissors, it's more of a, well, the straight edge. And you can always trim it just a little bit if you have some parts that you don't particularly like. This white edge off. Guess I might as well have not gone around the whole thing with water to begin with because it dried up so fast. But that's okay, it's only water. Okay, there we go. And that's bigger than my card, but we'll just use what we want. Either fold over some of it to the other side of the card. I've done that before and that looks pretty. Or just cut it off. So, and that really, it doesn't really show up that it has those perforations on it where they press the two plies of the napkin together. It just kind of goes away when you glue it. Pretty much. I mean, there's a little bit of texture there, but that's okay. Okay, I'm just going to use, and I've put this glue in a diced pimento jar because it was in a little bottle, and the top of it got completely clogged up, and I couldn't get it unclogged with a pin or anything, and so I started fiddling with it to see if I could pop it out. Well, it broke around the top, so I just gave up and put it in a jar. And that's fine with me because I'm going to use my brush to put it on this napkin. And hopefully it won't be too thick or too thin. I'm just putting a little bit on the back. And this may be really hard to put on the card, so I think I'm going to move it over here. And it may have a few wrinkles in it when you get done, but that's okay. I'll just call it texture. And I ended up with that where I didn't want it. Oh, well. Oh, good grief. I don't know what I was thinking. But that looks okay. I'm just going to go with it. It doesn't have as much yellow on it as I would like, but I don't think I can pull it up at this point. I think it will tear. So we'll just continue. I'm going to go over the top of it with the glue again. And hopefully that will get rid of any of those little ridges that I don't particularly like. You can also use your glue stick and just glue it to the page. And if it's not going to be something that gets a lot of like in and out wear and tear on it out of a pocket or something like that, just having the glue stick on it is sufficient. Or you can go over it with the glue like I'm doing here, and it gives it a little more stability and sturdiness. Okay, I'm going to trim off that top part because I don't think I want that up there. I didn't check this to see how it's going to look. I mean, it's going to be fine in there. So trim that off also. There. And a little glue. Okay. I think with wet glue, you start getting, the paper starts getting wet. All of it, the card and everything, but it will dry and be fine after it dries. I probably should have glued this side and then gone back and done the other side later, but I didn't, so we'll just do a little bit more on here and hope for the best. Smooth that out a little bit so it doesn't have so much texture. Okay. All right, we're gonna call that good. And I guess I'm gonna have to set it up on something so it doesn't stick to something while it dries. It'll probably be okay. If it's not, it's a card. I can redo it. I have more of the design and I have more of the index card. I can just do another one. All right, I'm gonna quit fooling with it. Except I've got something right there I don't like. Get that off. Okay, for better or for worse, that's what it's gonna be. This is just liquid adhesive, it's what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's just PVA glue, white glue, like Elmer's or some variation of that. Yep, that's gonna have some texture in it. But what I may do when it dries, I may go over it again with the glue again. And just, it starts getting kind of like plastic or something, a shiny surface on it. There it is for now. So I'll put this somewhere to dry. I'm gonna put that aside for right now and go back to this piece. And I've already cut off a little bit of that so that it has, the opening is, you know, you hold it and open it that way, it's easier. I'm gonna cut my lace to go on there. All right, I'm just gonna cut across here. Like that. I just want a little bit over the edges. I think that's a pretty look to have that. And I can straighten it up in a little bit if I need to do that. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this and hope for the best. I think I'll turn it this way and then I can just flip it back over on there. Get that off. And I need to start down a little ways from the top, so we'll just do this. I'm just going to touch it down to get glue on there. Go fast enough to get it glued before everything starts drying. And I'm probably going to have to wipe off my mat when I get done with this because it goes straight through that lace. Oops, not need to go any higher up there. Okay, I think that may be pretty good. Okay, now, turn that around. Yes, I'm gonna need to wipe the glue off. And bring it down just a bit. A good bit of glue on this already, so get it pressed down. Get out a wet baby wipe to wipe this table off. Okay, and my fingers for that matter. All right, let's think that looks pretty good. I decided to put this little stack of things on here. I have a butterfly that came out of this package. These were Dollar Tree items also. You can find a lot of crafting items at Dollar Tree. It's butterfly die cuts, and they come in, I haven't been there in a while. I don't know if they still carry these or not, but they came in this color and also a green. And there were some that were a bright pink. I didn't buy those, but I got these two colors. I kind of wanted something that I thought looked natural, and pink to me is not a butterfly color. They're not original, you know, when you take them out of the package, they're not cut too well. There's a little bit of trimming that you might want to do, or not. You don't have to, but I trimmed this one down some. I'm going to put, what I have here is a piece of tea bag, a piece of tulle. It has a little sparkle to it that I'm going to put on top of the tea bag. And then this is a piece of fabric that is, I don't even know how old it is. It's very vintage. It was my mother's stuff, and it apparently was a dress scraps. And it's just a teeny tiny bit of dress scraps. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to cover up the blue with the butterfly because this is not really, there's not going to be much blue in here. So, and I think it looks better that way. So, and that's going to go here. And I think I'll put him on there at an angle like that. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to glue this all down and start with the tea bag. And hope I don't lose the tulle in the, into just, it disappears. I'm not going all the way to the edge with this. I'm just going to kind of do what I did before, just kind of dot this on here, what I did with this, and place it down, and then put the tulle on top. Just make some layers here. About there, I think. Like that. And then put this on next. Let's see where I want it to go. I may just put it like that and just do a tiny bit of gluing just along here and on the other side, and then put the fabric on top of that just to hold it in place. And like that. Then put the fabric centered there, I believe. So I will glue it a little more than the other pieces. Get it up here where you can see what I'm doing. And I may just put it around the edge because it's going to have the butterfly glued on top of it. So you may not need much in the middle, except my fingers are sticking to it. Okay. All right, let's see. Put that about like that, I think. Okay. And then I think I'm going to do what Barbara from 49 Dragonflies does. She uses dark thread and wraps some around her fingers to put behind the butterfly for antenna. It's not exactly antenna, but it's faux antenna. Now I can't get them off my fingers. Okay. I just put it like that. And put a little glue here. Just stick it in. And then I'll glue it the rest of the way on the to put on here. Okay. Now I think what I want to do is set him on here at an angle, kind of like that. And that looks cute, I think. I like that. That's our cover. Next, I'll go inside. Now this is going to be kind of loose here on the edges, and I'm okay with that. It gives it a little extra interest, I think. Anyways, and my plan is to put this on this side, up next to there. I think this is pretty well glued there, so I can go ahead and glue it in. I think I'll just kind of basically center it on that page. And I want it to have a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. Maybe I'll pull that forward just a bit so it's not too close into that. Maybe I won't. There. I didn't want it too close into that fold. And just hold that down. Hopefully it will stick. And I'm going to use this to get that off of there. Hopefully this won't be too thick to slide up in that up pocket. And let that finish drying, and it will go in that way, and the flowers will show there. And I think I'd like to have a piece of paper here to write on. Found a piece of paper that is, I think it's the rest of this, and it has kind of a crinkle there in it, probably from when I coffee dyed it. It's just copy paper that I coffee dyed, and I guess it's sort of straight. I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So I'm just going to put some glue on this side, I think. I like the other side. It's a little darker, and glue it to this page here. And I am getting glue all over everything. Sometimes when you run that over the edge of the paper, it just slices off a piece of the glue, which is not what I want. Get it off my fingers a little bit. Okay. Lift this up. And place it on here. I'm just going to kind of get it straight in there as best I can, and use my credit card to press it down. And hopefully I can press out that little bit of a wrinkle that's there. If not, it is texture. This inside yellow on this is very bright. I mean, it is school bus yellow. So it's kind of nice to cover up most of it with other things so that it's not, it's an accent now. Otherwise, it's just in your face bright. So it is not glued there on that corner. Put a little Fabri-Tac on that. Where's my, there it is. Okay, we have our place to write here, and we have our pocket. I'm back with this little folder that I'm making, and I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this to glue this to that lace. Put the butterfly on, I just want to get this a little bit stuck before, before I lose where it is on this page. That's the hardest part to me, is getting things positioned, and then when you go to glue it down, you get it in a different place than you had intended it to be in the first place. And I'm looking for my glue gobber here, glue eraser. Let's just smooth that down a little bit. Okay. And then on the butterfly. Get this all glued down. I want him going out to the northeast. Sorry. I think I want it about like that. And I hope that's good enough, because that's where he's stuck. Now I'll show you the front of this. I have the butterfly and the antenna made out of the sewing thread there. The very vintage, almost probably antique fabric. It was a dress. That's what I think it is. And I don't have memories of the dress or the article it was made from that fabric, but I do have the knowledge it was family stuff, and so it's special to me for whatever reason. Okay, now the other thing I want to do is put, well, a couple of other things I want to do. I want to put this flower rub-on decal on the back here. I think I want to do that. Boy, that yellow is a bright yellow. Hopefully that will tone it down a little bit. Okay, this is shiny, so that's probably reflecting. I found out the hard way that you can't just peel this off and expect to make it work out, because it will not. It will stick to everything in the world and tear up the transfer, and it's not good. So what I need to do, what I do now, is cut out the piece that I want with the covering on it, the acetate. That's still the one I want to use, so I'm just going to cut it out. Here we go. And I don't think it matters that there's all that extra space there. I think when you rub it on, it's just the, you can see barely. You may not be able to see, but there's a line around the decal part of that. So it's just that part. So just that is going to go on the page. Let's see. I think that looks pretty good. That's kind of in the center there. We'll go with that. So I'll just rub it down. Press really hard and hope that it sticks really good, really well. Okay, let's see if that did it. Nope. The tip came off. These transfers are some I got at the Dollar Tree. We went by there today on our way on a shopping trip, and I made a quick run through the craft aisle, which they have moved to closer to the front of the store. I think that's probably right down enough, but just put a little more pressure there. What I want to do is put one of those circles on it as a tab to help pull it out of this pocket. And I marked a place that I think is about halfway there to center one of the circles on. And I can't decide if the yellow would be better to go with the orange down here, kind of bring that over there, or the red that goes with these flowers better. Maybe like that. So I'm really undecided about that. I'm kind of leaning toward this one, and I can't tell you why I am. If I put this one over here, do I like that better? I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the pink one, just because. And I have this, it's a piece of packaging that I'm going to glue the flower to, and then glue this to here, and then glue that on the back after it's glued on. I'll use some of this, I guess. A brush to almost match my project there. Okay. I'm doing this to line it up, rolling it between my fingers to line it up a little better than I seem to have it. Okay, that looks pretty fair there. Okay. And next I need to glue it on here. And I need to first decide which way I want that to be. I think I want that little bit of green to go back that way. And I also need to see how far in I need to put that. Okay, now I need that out again. I hope it's right. Oh my goodness. I was saying we went by Dollar Tree today, and I've bought some of these before, these little, they look like wooden cutouts. I'm sure there's some kind of cardboard or particle board or something like that. But I have some flowers and some leaves and some different things. I hadn't seen the keys before, so I was excited to get those because I like keys, and I think they'd be fun to play with. And I'm thinking that maybe putting some gold on them to kind of enhance them and make them look like they're old keys, but still have some shine on them. I think that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to playing with those a little bit. Okay, this card is starting to have a little bit of an aged look. Okay, let's see if I got it in the right place. No, I didn't. Look at that. Oh dear. Wouldn't you know it? Oh well. I guess it'll just be what it is, won't it? And then I'm going to glue this one on here. And I guess I'll put it on like that. So I'll glue the back of it. I inked that with the Distress Oxide, and this wet glue is making it bleed a little bit. Okay. Grab one of these baby wipes over here. Press it down with that. I think that needs to dry before I put it back in there. Okay, let's see. What do we need to do now? I think that's just about everything that I'm going to do to this. I just wanted to finish this up with you and let you see how it ended up. Boy, that's yellow. I think this side, I have so much of it covered up that the yellow is not as bright. But this is very, very, very bright. After I turned off the camera, when I was working on this the other day, I decided that I still didn't like the very bright yellow on the back of it. And I thought about using this stamp, which is a postcard stamp, French postcard script on it. Just stamp over the yellow on the back, just cover it with that. And I didn't really like that idea because I had the little flower back there. What I decided to do was use some tracing paper. And this is what I ended up with. I stamped this stamp onto the tracing paper. And it just happened to not be very well stamped right there in the middle, which worked out great because that's where the flower is. And then I put a real stamp, which has so many postmark splotches over it that you can't even tell where it's from. I wanted it to be French, but I don't think it's French. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. It's obscured enough that it doesn't show, and by the time you get this over it just looks like it's a stamp back there. Decided to glue it down on this edge and leave this flap open. It tones down that yellow. I used this ribbon to glue the tracing paper to the page. It just barely overlaps both of those up here. I used Fabri-Tac on that too. So anyway, I wanted you to see how this ended up, and that's what I did for that. And then this side is the same as it was, and this is the card in the pocket after it dried. Here's a saying, it's better to be finished than perfect. So that's what this is this time. And it's not bad. You could still write on there, and it has a little bit of a grunge, strange grunge look to it. And it fits in there. And the butterfly lace and the compass points there. And I did clip the corners too, to round them just a little bit. I have a corner rounder, this corner rounder. And I like to use it, but it makes a bigger, let's see if I can find a little piece of paper. Use this. It's just a scrap, but it makes a larger round corner. See how much difference that is than that little nipped edge there. So I don't have a smaller one. There are versions of these that have like 3 choices that it's more of a square, and you can stick your paper in from 1 of 3 sides and get small, medium, and large, I guess you'd say, of the corner rounder. But this is the one I have. I've had this one almost since the time I first started doing journals. So anyway, I haven't bought another one because this is acceptable to me. I like it fine, and when I want it to be a bigger rounded corner, I have this to work with. I'm just gonna grab my book here, and we'll slide this into the pocket and see how it looks from the other side of the vellum. So it goes face down, so it shows through the other side. It has a little bit of lace hanging down, a little color there on the other side of those postcards. And there it is. That's going to be it for today, and I appreciate you watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope to see you next time.